Premier's priorities, how Scott Moe says the province plans to deal with addictions. Going private to perform more publicly funded surgeries. Saskatchewan's plan to provide better care. And resident rage over the rapid transit changes, why some are sharing their frustrations over what's to come.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Premier Scott Moe gave a sneak peek of his party's priorities for the upcoming session at the legislature today. As Keenan Sorokon tells us, he's planning to table legislation for addiction services.
Premier Scott Moe says involuntary addictions treatment spaces could be on the way.
We see people that are not in a space where they can even make the responsible decision to enter a life of recovery.
Called the Compassionate Care Act, Moe says the bill will be introduced this fall, but he didn't say how or when people would be placed in these spaces.
We are going to provide them at the direction of our enforcement officers and a panel the opportunity to enter recovery, a life of recovery.
The province announced a plan for homelessness and addictions in 2023, which added treatment spaces. The province also transitioned to a recovery-oriented system of care instead of the typical 28-day model, and that's a continued focus moving forward.
And we're building that capacity, but you also need our enforcement officers to enforce the law.
NDP leader Carla Beck said the province's plan needs more work and the advice of experts.
I've watched these guys do this time and time again. Throw an issue on the table, trying to divide. Often the plans are not well thought out.
On Monday, the NDP unveiled its own 5-point plan to combat addictions, which does include involuntary treatment as a last resort, but expands on areas the province has shifted away from since 2023.
It also talks about harm reduction, also talks about the need for expansion of voluntary services, something we don't have right now.
As Moe prepares his throne speech to launch the next legislative session, he warns recent economic uncertainty, tariffs, and the ongoing trade disputes with China and the United States will have an impact on federal and provincial budgets over the next 6 to 12 months. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Hundreds of healthcare workers are demanding immediate action to address overcrowding and hallway care at RUH's emergency department. The Saskatchewan Union of Nurses has posted a letter signed by 450 employees to social media. It details how the hospital's emergency department is facing severe overcrowding that's impacting both staff and patient safety. Sun says the letter states healthcare workers need help and their ideas need to be heard, calling the conditions unsustainable and unethical. Saskatoon hospitals have been facing ongoing overcrowding issues over the last several weeks. The province says it's working to address the issue with an expansion at City Hospital that will add 109 new acute care beds. It's also adding nurses to 911 dispatch in Saskatoon and Regina to help keep non-urgent patients out of the emergency room. The provincial government is expanding its contract with a private company to perform more publicly funded surgeries in Saskatoon and Regina. CTV's Stacey Hine now on how it will aim to improve patient care.
It's more than a procedure. For many patients, surgery can make a real difference in quality of life.
For my patients, timely access to surgery is about far more than clearer vision. It's about safety, independence, and being able to do the things that make life meaningful.
To help patients get care faster, the province is expanding its contract with Surgical Centers, Inc. The private company performs publicly funded day surgeries, including cataract procedures, dental extractions, and minor orthopedic operations. It handles about 17% of the roughly 100,000 surgeries performed in Saskatchewan each year.
With their support, we've reduced the wait times, and ensured that more patients receive the procedures they need sooner.
Under the renewed contract, surgical centers will add gynecology procedures and overnight orthopedic surgeries.
Some overnight joint replacement, which is very essential in terms of reducing the wait lists for knee and hip replacements in the province.
The contract runs 5 years and could total $177 million if extended to 7. The province says nearly 92% of surgeries are now completed within 8 months. The next target, 90% within 6 months.
We need to be ambitious. We need to be innovative. And so I don't want the wait times just to stay where they're at. They need to get better for Saskatchewan patients.
The province says its goal is to complete 450,000 surgeries by the end of 2028. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
As more transit platforms surface around Saskatoon, with the city planning for its rapid transit system, concern and confusion being raised among residents. As Carla Shinkaruk reports, many fear the changes will hinder instead of helping traffic flow.
Is going to be in that one driving lane.
Corey Kingsfield drives this stretch of Warman Road daily, and the new BRT station just added here is perplexing to him because to make room, the far west lane was removed.
Traffic is already really bad. This particular intersection with the new bus station, it's bottlenecking that intersection because they took out a lane.
He's not alone in his concerns, with social media increasingly lighting up with more concerns like these in other areas also. Residents confused on the rationale.
They're just slowing down traffic for this quicker bus service that's not going to be any quicker, because for them to do what they need to do in order to have a rapid transit system, they need dedicated lanes.
The manager of projects for the city tells us that of the 110 new transit stops that will be part of the plan, 14 of those have had lanes removed for various reasons.
And the reason really for that is about improving pedestrian safety and accessibility at those intersections. So just adds to that safety for people who are walking through those intersections.
It's intersections like this at McKercher and 8th where this used to be a turning lane, but now traffic will have to line up in the right lane to go straight and turn. The question has come up about why there isn't a bump out area for the bus to turn off the road and stop. Dudiak says that will happen in some places, but not all.
When there is a lay-by or a bump out, the bus has to merge back into the flow of traffic. So to prevent that sort of friction point, we don't include them at every location.
41 of these are now complete with a launch date of 2028. Kingsfield, who used to be a bus driver in Alberta, doesn't feel a sense of confidence in the plan to keep traffic moving.
It doesn't make sense in our climate to spend that kind of money on something that they don't need to spend it on.
So the city has already had public info sessions on the BRT, and there is one planned for Wednesday, specifically for businesses. Another public information session is being held Thursday and then again Monday. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
2 children and a woman were taken into custody after a man was stabbed outside a business overnight. Police were called to the Pleasant Hill neighborhood just after 3 o'clock this morning for a bear spray attack. Responding officers found an 18-year-old man suffering from stab wounds in a parking lot on 22nd Street West. He was taken to hospital to be treated. Officers also found a 12-year-old girl who was suffering from the effects of bear spray. She, along with a 14-year-old and a 20-year-old woman, were taken into custody. There's no word on charges or the condition of the victim. A 24-year-old man is facing charges including impaired driving following a fatal crash in Prince Albert that happened last month. On September 17th, just before midnight, emergency crews responded to Marquis Road and 2nd Avenue West, where the passenger side of a vehicle was struck by another vehicle. 28-year-old Shauna Ratt was taken to hospital where she died of her injuries. The other 2 patients were seriously injured but have since been released from hospital. The 24-year-old is now facing charges of impaired driving causing death and impaired driving causing bodily harm. He was released on conditions and will make his first court appearance on November 4th. Meanwhile, Prince Albert police are investigating what appeared to be a tense situation on Donald Street earlier today. This morning, the public was notified there would be a significant police presence and asked to avoid the area. No other details about the incident have been released. We are learning more about what happened the night a Saskatoon woman died. During the second-degree murder trial of her boyfriend, a recorded police interview played for the judge, followed by the victim's friend taking the stand. CTV's Laura Woodward has that story.
About 6 hours after 20-year-old Nikira Brown was shot and killed, Saskatoon police questioned her boyfriend, Andrew Rosenfeld. Brown was found dead on November 15, 2022, inside the apartment she shared with Rosenfeld on Avenue P South. During a recorded police interview, Rosenfeld said 2 men wearing masks, black clothing, and red shoes broke in and shot his girlfriend, but said he didn't see the shooting, he only heard it. He told police he saw one of the intruders holding a gun as they ran out. But surveillance footage from the area does not show any men wearing masks entering or leaving the building during that time frame. Rosenfeld told police he didn't know there to be a gun in the house, but Brown's friend, Catherine Iron, had a different account. The night of the shooting, Iron came over with plans to go for a walk with Brown. Inside the apartment, Iron testified she saw a gun on the couple's bed. Iron told court that Rosenfeld was abusive, and while she saw black eyes, she never witnessed Rosenfeld hit Brown. She said she left the apartment with Brown, but Brown went back inside, saying she forgot something, and that was the last time she saw her. The defense lawyer's cross-examination with Iron got heated as he pressed her about her gang affiliation and credibility. The judge ordered a 5-minute break for Iron to, quote, take a breath. As Iron left the courtroom for an afternoon break, she walked past Rosenfeld in the prisoner's box and muttered, "I hope you rot in jail." The trial is scheduled to continue on Wednesday. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Jeff, a cool start to the day, but the sun was really nice.
The sun was really nice, and the good thing is that it, technically speaking, above seasonal temperatures, Chantel. But yeah, we had ourselves a relatively sunny day, not particularly windy. So quite frankly, I'd say a harbinger, but certain shades of things to come, because we've got ourselves some warm and warmer conditions on the way as we make our way into the rest of the week. Really not a lot of active weather for Saskatchewan, and certainly a far cry from what they're dealing with out in Ontario. But we'll talk about the weather later on.
3 people are set to appear in court next month accused of violating Saskatchewan's immigration protection laws. As Wayne Mantika reports, it's the first time charges of this kind have been laid in the province.
The provincial government says it has laid charges against 3 individuals for allegedly taking advantage of the trust of a foreign worker at Guac Mexi Grill in Moose Jaw.
This is the first time that immigration charges have been laid under a provincial statute anywhere in Canada. So we're obviously, we don't want to see this happen, but at the same time, we're excited that the provisions of that act and our new Immigration Services Act have allowed us to do this today.
The charges were laid under the Foreign Worker Recruitment and Immigration Services Act. 3 individuals are to appear in Moose Jaw Court next month. The charges allege that a foreign worker was required to pay an expense or fee, and action was threatened against a worker for participating in a government investigation.
It wouldn't be appropriate to comment specifically on the charges in the investigation, as it will be before the courts. There are a variety of different mechanisms, whether it be complaints that come forward from foreign workers, from others that might be, working in that business, from members of the public. As well, we rely on the other enforcement agencies around government as well, whether that be occupational health and safety, employment standards, potentially the health standards folks as well, that may be out conducting an investigation and see something that just doesn't sit quite right.
The government says it is investigating several unrelated cases under the Immigration Services Act, which could lead to charges in other workplaces. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Conservation officers are asking for the public's help in finding the poachers responsible for killing more than 100 migratory birds east of Saskatoon last week. A tip led them to find 142 birds dumped on private property near Patience Lake, about 30 kilometers southeast of Saskatoon. Sask tip says the poachers didn't have permission to access the land and that all edible meat from the birds had been left to waste. The organization has also released a photo of a silver SUV and is hoping to identify the owner. Sask tip is reminding hunters they have a moral and legal obligation to harvest the meat. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact Sask tip. Meanwhile, a man from the Assiniboia area has been charged with illegal hunting after the remains of an elk were found in a rural area north of Melfort. Conservation officers were notified at the end of September that a cow elk had been shot and left to waste near Aylsham. The man, whose name has not been released, is facing 2 counts of unlawfully hunting, 2 counts of waste of game, and 1 count of hunting without landowners' consent. The Saskatchewan government has announced a boost in funding for nuclear research. The province, through Sask Power, will provide $6.3 million over 6 years to establish 4 nuclear research chairs at post-secondary institutions across the province. A partnership with the University Network of Excellence in Nuclear Engineering will create the first 2 research chairs in Western Canada, one at the University of Saskatchewan and one at the University of Regina. Through the Sylvia Fedoric Canadian Centre for Nuclear Innovation, a research chair will be located at Saskatchewan Polytechnic and another at the First Nations University of Canada.
These investments will advance our province's research capacities in nuclear engineering, safety, as well as in advanced research. And this is a commitment and a further testament to this province's ability to participate at all levels in the nuclear outbuild that we know needs to happen.
The research chairs will collaborate to develop nuclear-focused curriculums and conduct research in nuclear engineering, nuclear physics, and materials science. The University of Regina Students' Union is dissolving after a vote on the issue was postponed last month over a contentious meeting. In a controversial special general meeting, 70 votes were cast to dissolve the union, with 13 votes to not dissolve and 1 abstained. Several students at the university told CTV News they were either not aware of the virtual meeting happening on Discord or were not allowed to participate and cast a vote. The organization had its lease agreement terminated by the U of R in August. University officials at the time citing a loss of confidence in URSU's ability to represent and serve students. Now to last night's win that propelled the Toronto Blue Jays into their first World Series appearance in over 3 decades. The Jays beating the Seattle Mariners. And as Hallie Mandrick reports, fans across the country and here in Saskatoon are sharing their excitement.
Blue Jays fans across the country are gearing up for the World Series, and many Saskatoon local businesses are feeling the support.
It's so exciting. Everybody comes in here for Blue Jays stuff, and they're looking for everything: jerseys, hats, sweaters. And now that they're in the World Series, we're gonna have World Series stuff here, so everyone's gonna be in. And I just love talking to people about the Jays.
Many fans have stopped in to pick up some new gear and reminisce about the last time the team won the World Series back in 1993.
I used to work at the Shell station on 8th and Louise. It's no longer there, so that's way back 1900s. And I had a little small 4.5-inch TV that I brought to work that night. And as soon as the Blue Jays won, 8th Street went crazy.
Funk says the scene in Saskatoon was something she'll never forget.
People were going up and down 8th Street, and they're climbing the lampposts. I phoned my boss. I said, we got to close up the store. He just lived a little ways away. He came on his bike because he couldn't drive because everybody was crazy. And we closed down the store, and we just celebrated on 8th.
The game had fans on the edge of their seats at Sports on Tap, where it was elbow room only. Across town at Hudson's, fans were also out in full force.
Last night, we had a full house. The home run happened in the 7th inning. Our buzzer went off, and you couldn't even hear it because of everybody and how excited they were. High fives all around. They were jumping. They were dancing. They were so, so happy.
Rotinsky says the love for Canada's team is clear among pub patrons on game days.
So much fun to watch how our pub patrons can bond together over the course of a 3-hour game. And sure, they don't know each other at the beginning, but they truly are best friends by the end because we're all cheering on the same team.
The Jays are set to face off against the LA Dodgers on Friday evening, with Toronto having home field advantage for the first 2 games. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still to come, auditing the CRA, why it's taking so long for federal officials to pick up the phone. Also, what's needed to beef up the Canadian military. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. If you've ever tried to reach the Canada Revenue Agency and been frustrated by the slow response or found some of the answers you get fall short or are wrong, you're not alone. Canada's Auditor General released a troubling report today that highlights the failure of the CRA to do the job well. CTV's Abigail Beeman has those details.
You don't need to be sidelined. You don't need to be stalled. You don't need to be dropped. You need to be dealt with and worked with.
David Cornish is not surprised by the Auditor General's findings about shortcomings at the Canada Revenue Agency. He's spent enough time trying to get through himself.
Hours and hours, and then dropped. And the next day, hours and hours, and then dropped.
Even if you have to wait, when you get through, you should get an accurate response.
The report found during test calls, non-specific questions about benefits fared the best, but callers only got accurate information 56% of the time. Business tax questions were only 54% accurate. And at the bottom of the barrel, non-account specific individual tax questions answered correctly only 17% of the time. Put another way, if you ask a general question about your individual taxes, you have an 83% chance of getting a wrong answer from the Canada Revenue Agency.
We found that the accuracy was much higher when questions pertain to specific accounts.
Why does this government force Canadians to pay so much for such terrible service?
We are holding CRA to account. The 100-day plan is showing, I think, spectacular results so far. We've got a lot of work to do.
The government says they've already hired more employees and beat their own goal, which was to have 70% of calls answered at all. The latest data from 2 weeks ago puts calls answered at 90%. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's Auditor General also critical of the Canadian Armed Forces tonight, saying it's falling behind on enlisting enough soldiers to meet Canada's operational requirements. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, those who do make it into uniform may not be able to access adequate housing.
While National Defence has lots of plans, a lot of it is based on outdated information.
An alarming assessment from Canada's Auditor General and a quick admission from the Defence Minister.
We have work to do.
Amid a massive military spending boost and this government's renewed efforts to recruit, a pair of audits released today revealed that the Canadian Armed Forces is falling short in two key areas that could have long-term implications.
The Canadian Armed Forces isn't recruiting enough members.
While thousands apply each year, only 1 in 13 candidates make it to basic training, and the military isn't tracking why. Recruitments are also taking twice as long as targeted, and there's instructor and equipment shortages. Compounding this, the forces have failed to plan for and provide enough adequate housing for the recruits that do make the cut.
So this is going to impact retention.
After examining the conditions at a Navy base in Esquimalt, BC, an Army base in Gagetown, New Brunswick, and an Air Force barracks in Trenton, Ontario, the AG found many quarters lacked amenities like Wi-Fi and desperately needed significant repairs.
Toilets weren't working, or there was structural damage to the exterior walls of the buildings. The kind of conditions that you and I wouldn't want to live in.
Critics call these findings unacceptable, but today the government was adamant that changes are being made.
We know that the better the conditions of living, not just housing, but childcare and dental and medical, things we're investing in, the higher performing they are. We want a high-performing military. We have one. We're getting there.
These reports cast new light on long-standing issues that military leaders have pledged to address for years. CTV News asked the current Chief of Defence Staff for comment today, and she declined. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's embattled auto industry took another hit today. General Motors says it's ending production of its Bright Drop electric delivery van in Ingersoll, Ontario. Industry Minister Melanie Joly says she's working on a plan to support impacted workers.
That's a decision they took. Of course, we'll hold them to account for any support we've given them to develop that model. But at the same time, we are creating a response group to make sure that we're bringing a new model, because the 1,200 workers at the Ingersoll plant need to know that we're fighting for their jobs.
GM says the decision is related to low demand for the product, adding that production is not being moved elsewhere. Operation of the plant was halted in April, but was slated to restart in November with a single shift. About 1,200 unionized workers were employed at the plant before production was suspended. In question period today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre slammed the Prime Minister, saying Mark Carney sold out and betrayed auto workers, while Joly says she has already begun discussions with GM, Unifor, and Ontario.
I'm composer Vincent Ho. On behalf of Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra, I'd like to invite all of you to our upcoming Saturday, October 25th concert at TCU Place titled The Space Between. It's going to be a terrific program featuring Shostakovich's Symphony No. 5 and my second percussion concerto, From Darkness to Light, featuring soloist Dame Evelyn Glennie, one of the world's greatest percussionists. It's going to be a terrific evening conducted by Carl Hertzer. For more information, go to saskatoonsymphony.org. Over to you. What's the weather going to be like?
Well, the weather's going to be quite spectacular. I can tell you that it's going to be a warm day on Saturday, but let's get down to the details, Vincent. You can see here, Saturday, we've got 17 degrees for a daytime high, mainly cloudy, but 17 degrees is way above seasonal. Of course, the performance begins at 7:30 at TCU Place. For more information, saskatoonsymphony.org. Now, on to what we have going on right now. 8 degrees in Saskatoon, 5 in Prince Albert, and 10 in the Battlefords. A little breezier, but just in the Battlefords region. Otherwise, pretty light winds in all 3 locations. Now take a look at what's going on for Saskatoon's Almanac. 10 degrees for a daytime high, so that's 1 degree above seasonal. 23, though, that was the record warm temperature on the 21st of October. That was set in 1940. The record cold, a very cold, -15 in 1976. The sun came up at 7:42, and it went down at 6 on the nose.
Coming up, sizing things up, how one Saskatchewan farmer has some big shoes to follow.
Saskatchewan, we're checking in with MasterChef Canada. Watch the contestants come up with their own twist on tortillas, then tune in tomorrow as we sit down with the latest eliminated chef.
All right, twisted tortillas, okay. Hey, you know, yesterday I said no more slashes of orange. Well, I was so wrong. Look at that, right along the edge of the horizon there. We do have some lovely clouds, get a little lighting, extra lighting there, and then it starts to clear up off to this part of the screen. So ultimately, we've got ourselves a nice evening setting up and some really warm temperatures coming our way. Let's take a look at our numbers, show you that it's 8 degrees right now in Saskatoon, 5 in Prince Albert, 10 in the Battlefords. Quick look at our hot spot and cold spot. That was Leader at 15. Mancoda -9. That is the cold spot. Around the province we go. 9 degrees in Lloydminster, 8 in Swift Current, 2 in Regina, 4 in Yorkton, and 7 in Estevan. In central parts of Saskatchewan, temperatures ranging 6 degrees from 4 degrees. That's in Waskesiu, Watrous, Hudson Bay, up to 10 in the Battlefords. It's 8 in Meadow Lake, 7 in Kindersley, and 5 in Wynyard and Nipawin. Up north, temperatures don't drop off so much. In fact, fairly close to seasonal numbers here. 3 degrees in Stony Rapids, 2 in Collins Bay, 4 in Key Lake, South End, and Sandy Bay, Island Falls, 5 in La Ronge, 6 in Buffalo Narrows. Down south, some double-digit temperatures towards the western side of the province. Outlook and Leader at 11, 12 degrees in Maple Creek. But then as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures do drop off. It's 4 in Melville, 6 in Broadview and Weyburn, 7 in Carlisle. Now on to our detailed forecast, starting off with the futurecast. As you can see, not a lot of active weather in the next 24 hours. It starts to get a bit windy in Alberta, but not so much windy in Saskatchewan. Now on to our look at tomorrow's temperatures. So for Wednesday, we've got ourselves cloudy or mainly cloudy skies up north with temperatures at or above seasonal values. La Ronge at 7. We've got 11 degrees for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, 13 for Kindersley and Rosetown under sunny or mainly sunny skies. Similar sky conditions and slightly warmer in the southwest. 16 degrees in Maple Creek, 14 in Leader and Swift Current, 13 in Outlook. Temperatures of around 11 or 12 degrees in southeastern Saskatchewan with sunny conditions in Regina, Moose Jaw, Estevan, a bit more cloudy in Yorkton, and in east central Saskatchewan, 9 degrees in Melfort, 11 in Watrous, 10 in Humboldt, and 7 in Hudson Bay. For the Battlefords overnight, dropping down to -4 degrees with some fog patches showing up. That will dissipate tomorrow morning, and then we have mainly sunny skies on a high of 12, so above seasonal, and staying at 12 on Thursday. Friday, 13 and 16 on Saturday, still above seasonal on Sunday at 10 degrees, but back to reality on Monday and Tuesday, highs of 6 degrees and a chance of showers on Monday. Prince Albert's overnight temperature -2 degrees, 10 for a high with winds out of the southwest at 10. 11 degrees on Thursday, 12 on Friday, 16 on Saturday, but then dropping down to 10 on Sunday, still above seasonal, and a bit of a wet start to the work week. It looks like a chance of showers and a high of 7. 3 degrees on the minus side for Saskatoon with some fog patches showing up. Winds out of the west at 10. The wind's direction changes, not the speed tomorrow. 12 degrees with sunshine, and then as we take a look at the long long-range forecast for the Bridge City. 14 degrees on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, mainly cloudy, but look at that temperature, 17 degrees. 11 on Sunday. Monday, 7, and the same for Tuesday. So all in all, a pretty sweet forecast. Hey, did you see Getty at the game last night? I did. Rush is moving closer to the hearts of fans across Canada. The band added Edmonton, Vancouver, and Montreal stops to their upcoming reunion tour. In total, 17 cities across the U.S. and Canada have been added to next year's 50-something tour, which is set to begin in June. Tickets for the new dates go on sale Halloween, October 31st. Sotheby's is auctioning off guitars from some of the greatest guitar gods in history, including this iconic axe from Eddie Van Halen. After being gifted to someone else, this well-loved red and white striped electric guitar was eventually sold to Mick Mars, the guitar player from Motley Crue, who famously used it to record the band's Dr. Feelgood album. It's expected to sell for millions. The auction ends on October 24th and also includes guitars from Eric Clapton, Slowhand, and Jimmy Page. Now let's hear some Jerry Lee Lewis. 20-year-old Kevin Chen, originally from Calgary, has clinched silver at the International Frédéric Chopin Piano Competition. He was one of 5 Canadians competing. American Eric Liu won the gold medal, which comes with a cash prize of just under $100,000. The nearly 100-year-old event was inspired by the Olympic Games, named after the famed Polish composer Frédéric Chopin. It's held every 5 years around the anniversary of Chopin's death.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. You've got some special photos, as always.
I sure do. Let's start off with this one. It's a nice, interesting contrast. This starts off with this young fella. This is from Kimberly Hansen. This is Asher Vicente with one big pumpkin. He grew it this year, so you'd have to ask him for a secret on how he got it so big. Well, okay, we'll see if we can ask him that. And our next one comes to us from Florence Scott. Not a lot of description. She just says autumn leaves, and I love that contrast between a tropical plant indoors and those bright leaves in the outside. So thank you, Florence. And finally, hi, Chantel and Jeff. I hope you're both having a great day. Attached are a couple of photos that are kind of timely. These two were hanging out in a Warman backyard this morning, celebrating last night's Blue Jays victory by making noise and eating peanuts. The photos were taken in my backyard by my father-in-law, Cliff Poland. Keep rocking. And those come to us from Andy in Warman. So thank you for sending those in. And yes, that was quite the game. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, following in a farrier's footsteps, the Saskatchewan man who is taking horseshoe making to a whole new level.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
A love of horses has one Saskatchewan man following in the footsteps of those who care for an important part of the horse. Jacob Carr now on the profession that makes him a hero of hooves.
I've trained my own horses ever since I was probably 8 or 9, not really knowing what to do, just watching some YouTube videos.
As young farrier Aidan Magnuson said here, he has been working with horses for the better part of a decade.
My mom's best friend, she had this little pony and she had cancer, and she ended up giving me this pony. And then it kind of started from there, and then I got another pony, started that, sold it, and then got Ernie here when I was about 12.
Magnuson is now 18, and at 17, after finishing high school a semester early, he headed to one of the best farrier schools in the United States, the Pacific Coast Horseshoeing School in California. And Magnuson says despite the high-level training, he still has a lot to work on.
I'm in an apprenticeship right now with a guy down the road, and yeah, he just kind of teased me because I could not get my nail line straight, and I'm still working on that. And I just have tons of nails beside me, and it looked like I was in a firefight.
According to a member of the Worshipful Company of Farriers, the nice thing about pursuing a career in the farrier industry is the bevy of options you have to choose from.
You can take whatever path, whether you want to keep it more traditional with making horseshoes, going to competitions, or if you're wanting to strike up modern stuff like gluing on shoes, or, you know, getting into a bit more therapeutic side of things.
According to Lacey and Magnuson, the need for farriers in Canada and Saskatchewan is growing.
Just say about the industry, just get into it if you want to do it. Like, there's a shortage of farriers, and we're always happy to have more. A lot of things that people overthink are the horses. We're here to help the horses. It's their world. We're trying to make it a little bit better.
And if Ernie could talk, I am sure he would agree with Magnuson's sentiment. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, who the Snowbirds have made an honorary member, and later, what had Jeff back in class.
Okay, it's time for the rural forecast, and we'll take a look at what's going on tomorrow. And just as advertised, we are anticipating warmer than seasonal temperatures into the double digits. Keep in mind, typical daytime highs for many of these locations should be around 8 or 9 degrees. Some places just a titch cooler than that. So some warm conditions, lots of sunshine. So right now, Wednesday is looking pretty darn sweet. I'll take a look at the Hudson Bay, 7 degrees. That's a bit on the cool side, but not cold. 9 degrees in Melfort and Wynyard, 13 in Outlook and Kindersley. Down into southern Saskatchewan, we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but just to reiterate, 16 degrees in Maple Creek, 13 along the international border in East End, Cypress Hills, Rockland, 14 in Coronach, but it cools off a little bit, but still double digits for Carlisle and Broadview, 9 degrees in Kenora. So some pretty warm temperatures out there. And let's check in on the temperatures tomorrow for Duck Lake. Duck Lake expected to be sunny and 11 degrees tomorrow. Winds out of the southwest at 10. And let me tell you, we talked about some of the other things that were going on in November in Duck Lake. Well, on the 19th, the Goodwill Manor Auxiliary is hosting a puzzle and book sale at the Manor, so that's on November the 19th. And Duck Lake is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Greetings, everyone. For 55 years, the Snowbirds have been entertaining spectators across North America. Recently, the squadron added a new honorary member with the hopes of forming relationships with Indigenous communities and seeking the interests of the youth. A special day for Chief Evan Tapetat from Kakawishtahaw First Nation, being sworn in as an honorary colonel of the Canadian Forces Snowbirds. Tapetat spent a portion of his life in the Canadian military. Being awarded the new title is a full circle moment.
I was 5 years old when I saw those fighter jets over my First Nation. You know, if I could go back in time and tell my Musham Albert, who was with me that day, we pulled over on the side of the road, I could say one day we're going to help those people. I think that's a really cool thing, and it's just a beautiful day, and I'm honored to be the honorary colonel of Snowbirds.
Tapetat joining the Canadian Forces Snowbirds as an honorary colonel is a historic moment for the squadron.
This is the first time that we actually have an honorary colonel who comes from the First Nations. So this is truly a step in the right direction to think about our dark past, but it's a step forward towards, you know, reconciliating the future.
Tapetat joined the Canadian Armed Forces in 1998 through the Bold Eagle program. He furthered his training in the mid-2000s before being deployed to Afghanistan in 2011. His time overseas would go on to refine his leadership skills. Also included in the day, the final performance of the season by the Snowbirds. Friends and family gathered on the airbase to watch a full half hour of acrobatic maneuvers, capping off a jam-packed season which saw the Snowbirds travel across Canada and parts of the U.S. Earlier
Earlier this month, the Mooshta Fleet headlined a show on the California coast. Honorary colonels are honorary and advisory. They may mentor members of the unit and build networking relationships. Tapatat is looking forward to showing future generations of Indigenous youth that there is a place for them in the Canadian Forces.
Paved the way because there's a lot of younger people that are coming. Now, Indigenous kids in Canada can say, hey, maybe we can be colonels, maybe we can be honorary colonels. And I want them to know that this is a viable path for us, whether we're on the First Nation or whether we're wherever we're in urban centers and whatnot.
Proving that the sky really is the limit.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
After a huge run-up this year, gold had its worst day in a decade. Morella Fernandez has more on that.
Gold has been surging this year as investors look for security in a quickly changing world. But today, it reversed course. After hitting a high yesterday above $4,300 an ounce, gold prices tumbled today. Precious metals were the biggest losers on the TSX. Some, like Aya Gold and Silver and Lundin Gold, down about 15%. The weight of gold and silver stocks also brought the TSX down several hundred points. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.35. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 57.24. Western Canadian Select down $1.38 to 44.91. And the TSX dropped 527 points to slip under 30,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.16 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.079. On Saskatchewan markets. Cameco dropped $4.54 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $78.56. Coming up next, The Walking Dead rise up. Then what had Jeff at the top of his class today?
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV starting at 7 with MasterChef Canada. We know it's zombie season, right? And there were some chilling scenes on the streets of Mexico City. Thousands of zombie enthusiasts turned out for their annual zombie walk. It was meant for all people of all ages. There was also a special dance performance of Michael Jackson's Thriller. The zombie walk phenomenon originated in Sacramento and has spread across the globe since then. So,
because we've certainly had zombie walks in Saskatoon. I don't know if it's an annual event, but we've had them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's annual. Maybe
brains. Learn your lines. That's my only line.
You had a line or two today because I heard you had a special audience and you went back to school.
That's right. I need all the help I can get.
1, 2, 3. Thank you. Round of applause.
Thank you. There you go. Yes, I was at Ernst Lindner School today, and we were doing a weather presentation. I was there with photographer Danny Shingoose, and we did a weather presentation for the grade 5 class. This was Robin Haladi's class of kids there. You can see Robin in the back there. And yeah, the kids had great questions. So we talked about highs and lows and cold fronts and warm fronts and the creation of tornadoes, all the good things. And we appreciate our opportunity to go and talk to the students there as well. I mean the learners. I mean the learners. That's what you got.
I'm sure you imparted great wisdom to them.
Well, let's not go that far.
Did they ask about the forecast? I mean,
you know what they did ask? They asked if my boss was strict.
Oh.
And I said, you know, the interesting thing was she was the boss who hired me to get into this business, and she gave me some latitude back then, and she still gives me latitude now.
So you said she's the best ever.
Yes, exactly. But I gave them some backstory. Some people like details.
Okay, details. What details do you have to share with us?
Well, we can tell you it's going to be a lovely day tomorrow because we've got ourselves lots of sunshine and a temperature of just 1 degree. But look at that. By the time we get into the mid-afternoon, temperatures of around 12 degrees. By 5 o'clock, it's 11 and not windy, sunny. Things are looking pretty good.
And the weekend?
The weekend's looking
great.
lovely right now. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.